Ages ago, humanoids lived peacefully on the surface of the island, while the tree dwellers lived among the trees, high above the ground. As a result, the two peoples didn't interact. One of the frequent tremors quickly grew to unprecedented levels, and the island started sinking slowly into the sea. The humanoids sacrificed themselves, although it's unclear how, in order to stop the collapse, and many died. The only place left for those who survived were the trees, but for some reason, they eventually all died out. The tree dwellers worshipped the humans as heroes or gods, perhaps because of that self-sacrifice to save the island. The last human survivor dwelt among the tree dwellers, and they were expecting for another like him to come. Atris gave this age its name from its conception. He first linked at night and decided to sleep. He was awakened by strange noises by a group of the tree dwellers. Once they saw him, were surprised and then fell to their knees worshipping him, and then guided him, with enthusiastic hand motions, through the passageways to a ladder that led up to their village. At sunset, they led him to an enormous hut, that of their leader, and next to him was a very old being, the last survivor of the Channelwood humanoids, who surprisingly could speak Atris's language. At night, the tree dwellers gave Atris a bed. The following days, he realized that the old humanoid was treated like a god, and Atris was revered in a similar fashion, which made him uneasy. However, the old man explained to Atris the history of the age and his people. When he ended the conversation, he stood up with difficulty, said that Atris was expected sooner, and blessed the tree dwellers who surrounded him and knelt before him, and then exited and threw himself down. A procession of tree dwellers went down the nearest rope ladder and carried his body to the end of a short pier, which they cremated with some potion. During the funeral pyre, the surrounding waters mysteriously changed to dull green, and by the next day expanded and remained permanently so. The creatures paid much attention to Atris and constantly offered him food or strange objects of affection. In the following 3 months, Atris learned some of their language. The creatures provided him with ink to write his journal. Eventually, Atris returned with Cirrus and Achenar, who went surprisingly well with the creatures and picked their language fast. Even when Atris had to leave for Osmoion, Cirrus insisted to let them stay. Atris reluctantly consented, with the warning not to take advantage of the respect the creatures had for them. Indeed, Atris later found out that the boys were doing very well. The creatures were dismayed that Atris left again, but were happy that his sons were staying again. During the following 3 days, the brothers constructed a boat with the creatures and explored the surrounding waters. When Atris returned, he said that he and their mother suggested that they should leave for a while. The brothers were made enthusiastic by their experiences and asked to return again or explore some other ages alone. When the brothers grew up to be evil, Channelwood was one of the ages they plundered tyrannically, and they established themselves in palaces among the highest levels of the trees. It is made obvious that Achenar played as god and used an imager to command the creatures, similar to how Gaen established a position as a god to the natives in the Riven. Achenar also tortured and slaughtered the creatures. Achenar stayed in Channelwood when the brothers planned to trap Atris, and Cirrus left him a message about destroying his Myst linking book. The Age was an uninhabited island. When Atris linked to the Age, he found a lush and green landscape and enjoyed the silence. But a mysterious hot wind gave him a strange feeling that he was not welcome. He slept on a green hill, but he woke up by terrible shaking in the ground and explosions as fiery meteors fell from the sky. Atris returned 3 months later, bringing a new linking book as the one left behind would have been destroyed, and found a brown and barren land. Despite this, he enjoyed the various sounds that constantly flew through the air and explored to find their origins. One night, Atris awoke by a hissing sound and heat, and soon after, he witnessed a roaring, wide chasm opening nearby. He considered harnessing its energy, and despite the heat, he reached a newly created cave, an entrance to a vast underground cave system deep into the crust. He left, and then returned with tools for his plans to explore the underground, and thanks to the abundance of raw materials, he didn't need more. In the following year, Atris began working. He built bridges, a rocket ship, an antenna detecting sounds, rails spanning inside the cave mazes, a maze runner designed according to Dini technology. and help from Cirrus and others. On that age, Atris employed one of his most prized inventions. During that time, Cirrus and Achenar were spending time alone in Channelwood. He copied many of his construction notes in another journal. After about 18 months being there, the age had stabilized. While leaving, Atris considered visiting another age which would provide answers to Selenitic's mysteries. Atris returned to Selenitic in order to bring over some of the machinery left there, in order to use them for his constructions in rhyme. It was one of the few ages that survived Cirrus and Achenar's wrath, probably because there was no civilization to exploit. While writing Relishan, Atris revisited the age and felt the same disturbing feeling as always. Atris wrote this age knowing that it would be different from the previous ones. There was a beautiful walled city that rose up out of the water between 3 enormous hills. Its people had anything they wished. However, they were alone and had no means to travel on water, so they anticipated visitors from the east. For that, they built a lookout post on the east hill. Friendly visitors brought rumors of the black ships, an enemy beyond the horizon. One day, the sky became as dark as night, and the black ships appeared, ignoring the lookout post's attempts at peace. The sentries were easily overwhelmed as the ships wreaked havoc on the city. The foundations of the city were destroyed, and it sunk deep into the ocean, and only the lookout post remained. 8 people had hidden and managed to survive through the attack. It was rumored that in 10 years the enemy would return to finish the destruction. In the 9 years, 2 of the survivors had died. When Atris came, the sky was dark. He met a very ancient man who reminded him of Emmet, who told him this story. As the next attack was expected soon, he decided to assist them and save that civilization. With the help of Cirrus and Achenar, who were now more mature, and 4 of the healthiest survivors, they built a fortress using the city's ruins as the foundation. Atris employed some holography technology he experimented before on Aspermere to help the survivors learn to operate the fortress. While working, Atris envisioned his next age, Arimal. The boys were working on small projects of their own on the South Island, where most of the materials were stored. After 6 months of work, the fortress was completed, and Atris compensated for some small miscalculations with the holographic technology. Work finished just before the attack, which was substantial. Then weapons stopped, and the ships turned away. On the night, the people celebrated with their ancient dances. Atris decided they should not risk the complete victory over the black ships, and after their adventure they left, hoping to find a better world when they'd return. However, Cirrus and Achenar returned to do much more than everyone had ever expected. They were captured by the black ship's pirates and were introduced to tyranny. They made their palaces in the fortress and obviously slaughtered what little remained of them. Cirrus stashed alcohol and treasures, and Achenar kept a hidden torture chamber. Some underwater breathing gear was kept there. The brothers took them in order to work in Serenia. It was said by the survivors that the skies would be grey and mechanical until the day the last pirate ship sank beneath the waves. The skies of Mechanical were lastly seen quite blue,